another edition of WRAL Triangle and 2 Bowl Season Edition. I'm Mark Bergen. He's Luis Fernandez. Luis, all three Triangle teams got in, and we get to start with the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Do they have anything going on? Anything of importance?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned this. It's like we're going to be talking about the Fenway Bowl, but really this is just a guise for us to talk about Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, if we start with the Fenway Bowl, right? Okay, cool to see from an opt-out situation what some of the younger players are going to look like. They're playing UConn, who I do think is a sneaky good team. They played Syracuse right up to the end. A good matchup. It'll be fun, cool atmosphere and all that stuff. But yeah, you're going to be watching the broadcast, and it's going to be them panning to crowd shots of looking for Bill Belichick, like with the little like binoculars, like in the crowd. Like that's what this is going to be about.
Well, especially considering that this game's going to be played at Boston as well with his ties to the Patriots. It's like
serendipitous.
Keep tally of how many times the announcers mention Bill Belichick. Like, if things go south at halftime, can Bill just like take over for Freddie Kitchens? Like, is this something that would be allowed in this game? Like, I'm being petty, but
I mean, I look at it almost as like this is an opportunity for all of the players that are currently on the roster to try out, right? To audition, to show what they've got. You want to put your best foot forward with a new regime. I talked with Freddie Kitchens on December 19th. Well, he was made available. He didn't sit down with a one-on-one with me. That would have been fun though. And he was the phrase that he kept on using was they are where their feet are. They are focused on the present. They are focused on the moment. He said obviously there was a lot of excitement when Bill Belichick was announced as the head coach. But I believe the way he phrased it was that excitement. That's cool in the moment, but ultimately it's up to the players to take that excitement and actually turn it into something tangible. So that's really, if I'm UNC watching this, my thought is this is a tryout. This is an audition for, being a part of the future of Carolina football, whatever that looks like under Bill Belichick.
A lot more money. And Freddie Kitchens seems to be a pretty likable guy. He has NFL experience with the Browns. I think he'll make for a fine position coach with however UNC designates him under Belichick's staff. I mean, I think he's fine as the interim, but like, I remember there were some rumblings about bringing him on as head coach. And it's like, clearly anyone who wanted that didn't watch a second of the 2019 Cleveland Browns season, Lewis. And you're asking, well, Mark, what are you talking about? This is a guy who, as the head coach of the Browns, ran the ball on 4th and 9. In another game, there was a 4th and 11 situation. He has his punt team on. He takes a false start penalty instead of calling a timeout. It puts his offense back on the field to go for it on 4th and 16. So, like, it's fine if he's a position coach. He seems to be a likable guy, but these are decisions he made as a head coach, and he's not going to have to do that at UNC. But there were rumblings of, hey, there's some support. He's very well liked. It's fine as a position coach, but when Belichick comes in, that NFL-style regime, Lewis, I fully expect to see on display in Chapel Hill, even as early as next year. I think you can be in ACC contention as early as next year with Bill Belichick as your head coach.
Well, our resident AFC North expert, Mark Bergen. No, I think one thing too, when Freddie Kitchens was asked on the 19th, hey, what is your position with the new staff going to be? He said he wanted to keep that between him and Belichick until, it was announced and everything like that. So remember, he was tight ends coach with UNC under Mack Brown. I think it's going to be interesting to just kind of see how all of that kind of comes together. The pro element of it, UNC has already been trending towards that, right? They had a general manager in the past. They've put in more support and all that stuff. Like, they're making those kind of steps under Mack Brown, but it's a massive change in the amount of investment, both I say both, but primarily from a monetary perspective. So we'll be really curious to see how all of that comes together. What the coordinator hires and things like that look like.
Yes.
Belichick has mentioned, he's going to kind of let the bowl season play out as things move along. Kitchen said that, the Belichick's kind of process with early on has been, hey, for the bowl game, let the current staff take care of things, let everyone kind of put in the work from that perspective. I mean, and, in all honesty, they know the team best, right? They've worked with them all season. You essentially have the entire coaching staff there, minus Mack Brown, of course, and also Chip Lindsey, who's moved on to Michigan now, the offensive coordinator. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this team does in the bowl game. But, I mean, let's be real. Eyes are also looking ahead to what things look like. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, 10 wins on the table, easy for UNC. But they are like, their schedule is not hard.
It's favorable.
But that's also some of that is just like that's the ACC in general, right? Like as long as you're not playing like at Clemson and at SMU, like that's not as bad.
I'll take this a step further, though. To me, this isn't even keeping up with the ACC. It's keeping up with the Joneses of the Big Ten and the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
So it's holding yourself to a higher standard. And I know you say, well, Mack Brown was right there 2 seasons ago, the ACC championship game, and they don't get it done in the title game. I get it, but my point is this. You can't hit a home run if you don't swing for the fences.
That's true.
Hiring Bill Belichick is a swing for the fences.
That is indeed correct. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
So I don't fault them at all.
No.
I can't wait to see what this looks like next year. And I think it's like a really early season guide because I don't know which of the players that are going to be playing on December the 28th. They're still going to be on the team next year. You mentioned it's almost like a tryout, or it's like almost like a glorified scrimmage, but to do that at Fenway Park in Boston, how fun that's going to be. Selfishly, I'm a little bit sad we're not going to get to see Omarion Hampton in a North Carolina Tar Heels uniform. I thought he had a really terrific career, and I can't wait to see what he does in the pros as well.
2-time second-team All-American. He, racked up over 3,000 yards rushing in the past 2 seasons. I believe it's I want to say either 25 or 30 touchdowns total, during that stretch, at least on the ground. He's going to go down as one of the greatest running backs in UNC history. And when the draft comes around in 2025, it's going to be him and Ashton Genty. Those are going to be the kind of the folks you're looking between, and you're trying to figure out who's going to be that first running back taken off the board. People throw on first round pick. I kind of, with running backs, I tend to go positionally more than, draft rounds, because we know the way people view running backs have changed, although running backs have been on the up and up in the NFL, but that's for a different podcast, Mark.
Yes. And I'll say this too. The one thing I know Belichick's going to bring in is you're not going to lose a game because of coaching, and the defense should be heck of a lot better, Lewis. It's not this past year where, okay, you give up 70 points to James Madison, but when you fell off in the 23 season, you fell off at the back half of the 2022 season. To me, it was the defense. It was the defense. With a Bill Belichick coach team, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be fixed overnight, but I think the defense is going to be a heck of a lot better next season than we've seen the previous several seasons. Now, I will say this too, though. 6 consecutive bowl games too. That's not nothing either. So it's get this back rolling. The term I've seen other media members use, and I do think that this is true, sleeping giant is what I've seen. And that's what, look, you might be saying, Mark, what's the Kool-Aid? What Kool-Aid are you drinking?
No.
That's the upside. That's the potential I see with North Carolina in 2025. I really do.
Can I give you, I'll give you a little bit of a triangle history lesson here, if you will, here on Triangle and 2. The phrase sleeping giant has been thrown around with UNC football for forever and ever and ever and ever. The exact words, sleeping giant. And it's because when you look at it, right, North Carolina, so you're in the South, you've got these different, players you can recruit from. You've got obviously, the main kind of brand image potential and all of that stuff. And, I think it was Mike Lombardi, the new UNC general manager, who he was telling a story when him and Bill Belichick used to visit here, kind of when scouting back in the Patriots and the Browns days. They spend their morning looking around, watching film. They go jogging around campus. And he said, we looked at each other and said, why can't they win here? And that's one day, will they win? Perhaps. But, I want to see Bill Belichick coach a college football game. I want to see what the roster looks like and how they continue to grow. Although one thing Freddie Kitchens said in his availability was, hey, he's a ball coach. Like he's Bill Belichick. He is a ball coach. There are things that you need to kind of like take time to learn and grow into, because college football is significantly different than the NFL. But at the same time, ball is ball. And that's, that's kind of what I'm expecting from this new situation.
2 questions I have for really the next 3 years, because it's 3 years guaranteed on that 5-year deal, Lewis.
Yeah, good. A great observation.
Can you get to the ACC title game and win a conference championship? Tar Heels have not won a conference championship since 1980. Can you get to the college football playoff or be like right there? I think that's a fair barometer during Bill Belichick's tenure, however long that lasts. And we'll see with the buyout too, because we asked him about it, WRAL Sports Pat Welter, and, Belichick says, I plan to be here. We shall see. Yeah. He's 72 years old at the time of this recording. He'll be 73 next season.
And I mean, and Mark, I think that's like when you look at on paper what UNC would have to do in order to get to, let's say, the college football playoff. I mean, the 2 teams that were in the ACC championship game this year got in. So, I think that's kind of, you get to that point of the season and you see what happens. And, if UNC is able to get to the college football playoff at some point under Belichick, it'd be a massive success. I think you have to give Mack Brown and, the staff their flowers for, the high moments that happened over the course of the past 2 years. But you need to be able to maintain that consistently. If Bill Belichick and them can do that, that's huge, obviously, for the football program, and financially, monetarily, what would happen to the athletic department from that would also be big. So yeah, and if I can, I want to end on this one thing.
I got one more thing too, but go ahead. You start first.
I'm sorry. Ask your second question first, and then
the only other thing I have is we're 10, 15 minutes into this podcast, and we were talking about everything on the periphery. Is there a North Carolina player you're most excited to see in the Fenway Bowl? I tried to warn our viewers out the top to say this is going to be more about a discussion about Belichick, but do you have a UNC player who you want to watch on December the 28th, Lewis?
I mean, it's so hard because I just don't know how to interpret bowl games anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, our bowl. I mean, you still, coaches and players still say it's like a springboard to the future and all that stuff. Mm. I need to see that. We're in such a weird world of college football. I'll say this. What I want to see out of UNC football is for the young, talented players to get a chance and to get an opportunity in this bowl game. And I think they will, just based on the virtue of transfer portal and things like that. I want to see young guys who have not really had much of an opportunity to make something happen. That to me would be what I would like to see happen in this bowl game.
What was your final thought, Lewis?
I asked Freddie Kitchens on the 19th. I was like, hey man, I believe, I'm trying to remember how I phrased it. I said, it may be presumptuous, but do you have any, and it's like, it may be presumptuous. I know he's Bill Belichick, but do you have any advice for him as he's transitioning from the NFL to college, kind of similar to how you have? Mm-hmm. And he said, I agree with your comment. He's Bill Belichick. I'm going to sit back and learn and soak up as much as I can from him. So, I mean, it doesn't get much more respected in coaching circles than Bill Belichick. So it'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds.
Yeah. Oh, how is he going to recruit? You just walk into someone's home and just lay the Super Bowl rings out on the table. It's like, what more do you need to know about success? He's Luis Fernandez. I am Mark Bergen. This is another edition of WRAL Triangle and 2. North Carolina and UConn on December the 28th, Fenway Bowl, Boston. Fenway Park, cannot wait. And if you haven't already, check out our other bowl game previews for both Duke and NC State. I'm Mark Bergen. He's Luis Fernandez. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care. So long, everybody.